Oh no, it's not loading cool stuff. Instead, it's loading episode 4 E4A3 Crushing Defeat. And the level starts into a box. How frickin' original can you be? Although the music for this level is pretty cool.
Outsider!
Yep, classical music strikes yet again. And this time we've got music for the funeral of Queen Mary, which was composed by Henry Purcell, and which also happens to be that one song that you constantly hear in A Clockwork Orange. And now it appears into this game as well, into this remix form with all of the pounding drums in order to drive the point even more. This is where you definitely start noticing a change into the game's atmosphere, with the brand new enemies that are introduced, the layouts, as well then the darker music that is definitely not as upbeat as the previous material that you heard into the game. So essentially, once that you got to episode 4, and yeah, by the way, this is why the level is called Crushing Defeat, believe it or not, those 4 or 5 crushers. Okay. Yeah, at the beginning of the level I played a little bit too well, so I needed to switch things a little bit. So, as I was trying to say earlier, this is where the game becomes completely different and where you pretty much have to use brand new tactics. For instance, instead of shooting monks for hours to come until they die, well, you end up looking for ways to kill them faster, such as shooting them into a trap so that they eventually die a whole lot faster, although it doesn't always work that well. Considering how little push your machine gun has, so sometimes it's almost as useless, but even though in theory it's a good idea to make it so that you have to use new ways of killing the enemies, on the flip side, you don't even need to do that, considering how easy the monks are on their own. Because, oh god, the dark staff doesn't actually kill them on one hit. At least not always, because sometimes the dark staff doesn't deal enough damage to instantly kill them. But yeah, the monks are not threatening on their own, considering that whenever you're shooting them, they're always into a pain state, just like almost every enemy in the game, except for the Triad Enforcer. And yeah, those monks are really creepy too. They're just stuffing a whole bunch of humans in order to stuck them into a closet with no food, no water, no anything. I mean, it's been like that in most of the game, but into this episode it just becomes more ominous and overall, considering the fact that through the course of this episode, you'll usually always meet humans in such traps like this. Instead, it's always the undead monks that have the floor of the show. Yeah, once again, oh, okay, I guess they were kind enough to stuff a whole bunch of healing crystals in there for them to survive. Oh, the monks are not all that bad. Nah, I'm just kidding. They're just really, really bad. So anyway, what can I even tell about this level? There's just really nothing to say. It's pretty much your typical shitty episode 4 level. This map has nothing special at all. Basically, the idea of this level is tight always with a really low ceiling that kind of makes you feel sick if you're claustrophobic and all of this. It's just like Into the Castle, but on the flip side, this level is not even hard. I mean, prior to recording this, I did a practice run on easy just so that I will be able to find all of the secrets when I will finally record the level. But yeah, that's my first attempt at recording the level at Crazy Man, and except for like one part, okay, or maybe this one part too, I didn't really was into any kind of danger. Alright, yeah. This is also another thing that you'll want to do often into this episode, luring dead fire monks to shoot other enemies for you so that you don't have to spend the effort yourself. This episode is all about finding ways to be really, really lazy and not legitimately fight your way through it because, well, this episode is just really bad. Mainly because this episode is such a huge disconnection from the rest of the game because it doesn't play like the rest of the game at all. But reading the original design document for this game, well, the monks were not supposed to be only used into one episode and then nowhere else, which explains why you see nothing but monks into this entire episode. because normally you will see monks for the first time in episode 2, and yeah, good job, you moron. But yeah, you are supposed to meet the melee monks from episode 2, and episode 3 will have introduced the dead fire monks that shoot missiles, and obviously we're gonna bring the dark staff, if only because it rains death upon the monks. Woo! Wasn't this level a laugh riot? It was so enjoyable. Who am I kidding? But at least this level was short. That's the only good thing this level has. Okay, this level didn't have anything memorable, fun, or anything, but at least it was in the 5-minute mark, which is far more than we can say for most of these levels. So coming up next, episode 4, Area 4, Diamonds and Rust.